Hello model railroaders, welcome back to the layout. My name's Dave. So, some success in getting down to work on the layout over the last week. I've managed to get the turnouts and the track all laid for the passenger train. I don't know whether to call it a yard or station platform. I guess it's a bit of both. So let me walk you through what has been accomplished. So we've got the Pico turnouts. I'm running all Pico on the upper deck. I don't really want to run Tortoise switch machines, and I've not had great luck with the Atlas turnouts in the past. I find the points aren't gapped a lot from the rails, and I've had some hang-ups with the width between the point in the rail and clearance of some of the older style, I guess, what are they termed, pizza cutter wheels. So I'm going to try and stick to Pico on the upper level and just leave them in the snap switches on them intact, the springs. So from starting here on the edge of the layout, there's the tie-in to the turn-off from the main line coming up the back of the layout. So the passenger trains will follow that curve and run down here, as I mentioned in previous videos. I'm not tracking any of this section yet until I know what I'm going to be doing as far as building and future track placement down this section. I don't want to lay the track and have to pull it up, so I'm just going to halt at this point and until some track plans are decided. However, getting back on topic, the turnout will be thrown after the passenger car train follows through the turnout, and then it'll back on up, it'll go through that crossover and then continue on. And if I can zoom in here one-handed, hit the first Y, and then the passenger train can back down one leg and through the other Y and drop 4 cars off, and then proceed forward, the turnout thrown on the Y, drop another 4 cars off, proceed back through the first Y, the turnout thrown, back down, drop another 4, and then the last will be the remaining 2 cars and the 2 engines. Whichever side that happens to be on, I know I want to get some structures in there as far as depending on how the cars are laid out as far as baggage cars and things of that nature. So I'll deal with some structures at that point down the gap between the main line and the edge. So that's pretty much where we are. That turnout going to the right there that's on screen now, that will go into a curved turnout, and which will supply 2 lines to an industry that I'll set up in that area in the trackage that goes around the top of the helix. So that is kind of where we're at. Lots of bus line work that still needs to be done. As I mentioned before, that's not a priority at the moment, so this track will essentially be dead unless I just jumper it over. Now, speaking of which, let me transfer over onto my stand and I can give you a closer look. I put some isolation here at the start of this turnout, so this curve here will feed off the main, and that will be this block, will be everything including the logging run. And at the end here, as I mentioned in a previous video, I added in some about 5 more inches of track, and I'm just using the cornerstone bumpers to terminate the track run there. So give a little look at it, but not a whole lot of progress, but a lot of futzing around, as I like to say, with these Ys, and working in both of those switches and that crossover so close to the turnouts, I should say. So that's where we're at. Now that that's done, I can clean up. Sorry for the jiggling. I can clean up this structure. I'm just going to put it away for now. I'll trim up all the spur bits and box it back up and clean this area up, and then we'll be jumping back into the foam work. And I've got some ideas for securing the foam down to the plywood, so that will be in a future video, because I've got to grab a piece of plywood if I don't have one down here already out of the garage, and some scrap foam, and give it a try. But one thing I am going to do, I talked before about in getting a good edge on the foam, and as you can see down this one, it is a little wavy and uneven side to side. So I'm going to clamp some straight edges on each side of the foam and use the hot wire cutter that I've mentioned in previous videos to just clean that up a little bit. So I'll definitely set the camera up and show you how I go about doing that. So for the moment, that's where we are. Something else I've got to sort out is this little divot here. I've got to fill that in, and of course once all this is secured, there's some evenness that needs to be taken down to level before I guess I'll seal it with latex paint. And yeah, there's another little spot where the knife got grooving out, and it's got a good 1/8 to 1/4 inch divot there down in that corner. So little things to sort out and get some foam bits glued in to get some track down here, and that'll be some nice long runs of track. So we'll take care of that on a future video, getting all this glued up and secured down to the bench top, and hopefully it will be a successful endeavor. If not, well, I've still got foam. If I make a really big boo-boo, I just cut a new piece. So like anything in our hobby, if it doesn't work the first time, you learn from it and you proceed. Just before I sign off, I want to give you a little view from this side of the layout with that LED light on. I'm quite liking that. Panning down, I don't know how the auto correction will do for the light, but to my eye, the corner over there is definitely a little darker, and then when I come back up here it's nice and lit, and with the greenery moved down so that I could work in the other area, it is definitely lighting that up quite nicely from the perspective I've got on this side of the layout. So I'm quite happy with that, though that will not stay there. I'll relocate that somewhere else in the layout, and I've got to get light. Once I get the line down, I'll be running about 16 feet of LED light from the location where I'm holding the camera down to the end to brighten this side of the layout up. As you can see, it's quite shaded with the logging run, so I want to brighten that up, and I've already got the J channel here to accomplish that. So a little steel work in the future, and a little more LED wiring up to the power supply hidden behind the backdrop over there. So for now, wish everybody a good weekend. I know we're going to be getting approximately what are we, 20 centimeters, 2, 4, 6, 8, about 8 inches of snow we're expecting in the next 24 hours. So hopefully those in southern Ontario are safe in driving, and stay inside like I'm going to, and work on the layout. So till the next video, bye for now.